Welcome back to Caffeine and Clarity, the space where we sip slow, breathe deep, and untangle the thoughts we don't always say out loud. This is where we remind ourselves that the messy middle of life still has room for peace, humor, and truth. Today's episode is one I think will land close to home for a lot of us. It's about friendships, circles, and what it really means when ours gets smaller. Because sometimes what feels like loss is actually alignment. The other day, someone asked me, why do I keep such a small circle? Now, they weren't being rude, but there was a little edge in their voice. Like they were trying to figure out if I was bitter or antisocial, which, fair enough. I do value my solitude, and I've absolutely lived through enough chaos to become intentional. Okay, maybe even a little picky about who gets a front row seat in my life. So I told them something honest, something real. I allow people to prove their ability to be in my life just as much as I have to prove my ability to be in theirs. But they didn't hear that. They jumped in with, oh, so you just write people off if they don't fit your agenda. Okay, no, not what I said. Not what I said at all. What I meant is that relationships breathe. They ebb and flow. There are times where we can show up fully for each other, beautifully, generously. And then there are times when we just can't, because life is heavy, because healing needs quiet. Because sometimes the soul beckons you to walk down a stretch of road alone. And when that happens, I've learned to honor it, to not take it personally, to not force what needs space. I wasn't always this way. I liked being surrounded by others. There was a time when I enjoyed being in the know of what others were up to. Last-minute invites, laughter spilling out until midnight. Not that I don't enjoy those things anymore. I just prefer them spread out now. The quiet seasons came. One by one, people got busy, distracted, pulled into their own storms. Calls and texts slowed down. I remember when it was first slowing down, how rejected I felt. But then I realized I was doing the same. Maybe you felt that too. That sinking little ache when someone you swore would be in your life forever starts to drift. And you don't know whether to chase them or let them go. I remember one friend in particular. We swore we'd grow old together. Gray hair, nightly phone chats, still laughing until sunrise. But then life shifted. Conversations got shorter. Plans kept getting pushed back. Until one day I realized months had passed. And neither one of us reached out. It stung. But it also taught me something. Sometimes distance doesn't mean betrayal. It just means the season changed. So now, I don't see a smaller circle as failure or having less than. I see it as alignment, as proof that I'm giving space for the right people and not forcing the wrong ones. I don't write people out of my story. they kill themselves off before the end of the book. Now listen, I genuinely do not say that with anger. I say it with peace. I'm not chasing anyone who's made their exit. I'm not standing in the doorway begging them to come back. I'm no longer auditioning for a role in someone else's life when I wasn't even offered the script. And I've stopped feeling guilty for needing solitude over connections that drain me or have no space for me. So yeah, maybe my circle is smaller, but it's filled with people who honor the quiet spaces, who don't panic when we need to pull back, who don't disappear without care, also, who don't cling out of fear. So here's the clarity that landed in my bones after that conversation. We're not here to force belonging. We're here to feel connection that breathes with us, that may contract sometimes, sure, but never disappears without meaning. And if someone vanishes from your life, suddenly or slowly, it doesn't mean they were the villain. And let's face it, you weren't always the hero. Sometimes it's just the way the story needed to unfold. So here's your little takeaway for today. Something to chew on with your coffee. You don't have to chase clarity in someone else's absence. Sometimes the clarity is in the absence. Let people show you where they stand and believe them when they do. Thanks for sharing this cup of clarity with me. If this stirred something in you, send it to someone you've been thinking about, or someone you've had to lovingly let go. And remember, your story is still unfolding. Keep writing it with love. Thanks for spending a little time with me here on Caffeine and Clarity. If something stirred in you today, let it sit. Let it steep. Clarity has a way of rising when we slow down. Until next time, keep sipping, keep feeling, and keep showing up for your own becoming. I'll see you next week.